Good morning. It's me, Pearl, and this is Tuned in Tarot. And I'm about to take a look at the balance between the divine masculine and the divine feminine energy inside of ourselves, understanding that whatever state we find this energy in, we can expect to see reflected back to us in our external environment. So we can glean things about people from our real life. We can come here thinking about a specific person we're trying to manifest, or a specific thing or career or outcome, but understand that all of those things that you have specifically in mind, you're simply gleaning information about those things from your own energy. Wherever your energy is, you're seeing reflected back to you. So if you want to see change, you have to make change. All right, Divine Feminine, you are going first again today because you showed all your cards, and Divine Masculine only showed one of his cards. Although I saw a couple that fell on the floor, and I'm interested to see what's going on over there. But let's start with Divine Feminine energy. Top of the deck, overall headspace, forefront of the mind for our feminine is Temperance in reverse. And we saw Temperance in reverse yesterday. It was on Divine Masculine side. I think it was right at the end of his reading. And for Divine Masculine, it was about having trouble trusting in the divine protection element that's within the connection that he wants to have with Divine Feminine. And I didn't mention it yesterday, but Temperance being a card about 5D relationships, like higher level relationships. In reverse, it can also be about coming out of that 5D state into the 3D. It's also about impatience, because it's like there's something that's going on behind the scenes in this card. There's this angelic presence that's doing this balancing energy, pouring from one cup back and forth. And this is something that's happening in this ethereal plane, like not something that you can physically influence, and it's something that you have to allow to happen. The time for healing, the divine timing, it's all about that kind of divine influence on our behaviors. Even the idea that we called the temperance movement in America such because we were tempering that energy of alcohol in the, like, there was that movement to ban people's partaking of spirits, because when you drink spirits, your energies are imbalanced, right? Like those words have meaning. Temperance was about that balancing energy that prevented you from being imbalanced spiritually. So Divine Feminine's thinking a lot today about her spiritual balance, about wanting to, I think, I'm feeling a little bit frustrated that there's this process that's mysterious and out of sight and not under her control. And she's just having to wait for this to happen, and she's chafing at it. She's just having a little bit of trouble trusting, I think, in her beliefs a little bit too. She's sort of like, I have these spiritual beliefs, and according to these spiritual beliefs, like such and such should be happening. And sure, like I'm seeing this and I'm seeing that, but will this really work out? Or how long is this going to take? Or, I believe it, but what do I do? Just wait. It's, that's her feeling. The niggling thing in the back of her mind is the Six of Wands. So she senses victory. She senses that in this tempering energy that has happened, in the healing, in the balancing that has taken place, she's achieved a victory. But in this deck, the Fountain, the victory, it's interesting because we see this person laying down flat on their back. And it's like they have a look on their face of like, hooray, but it's also kind of painful. Like it's like a painful grimace. So it cost a lot to achieve this victory. And I think Divine Feminine has got mixed feelings about it. She's like, great, I'm victorious over my moods. I've tempered my moods. I'm still alone though. Still a solo victory, spirit. Like that's definitely the feeling. Like, cool. Where's my stuff though? Right. The first thought on her mind is the Nine of Cups, which of course we say this, and I have to say it again and again and again and again and again because this card stalks this couple. But when you see the Nine of Cups in the spread, it means you're going to get your wish. The wish is to be in fulfillment with this manifestation. So rest easy, Divine Feminine. Here it is again. And she's like, yeah, but we're also just waiting. So chillax. The Nine of Cups is also about greediness and hoarding of emotions. The wish fulfillment in this case for Divine Feminine is to hear the expression of this emotion come directly from Divine Masculine. Still the desires, still not experiencing it. It's interesting to have both victory and the Nine of Cups. So we have a headspace that's like, yeah, I know I'm going to get my wish. But where is it? Because the next thing up is the Page of Swords in reverse, which is this energy of really not being brave enough to come forward and speak. And in this case, Divine Feminine is thinking about her specific iteration of this Divine Masculine energy. She's like, where the fuck? What the fuck? Why the fuck? It's not a happy feeling at all. She's like, how can I have such certainty, such victory of this wish fulfillment, which is to be loved and adored by this Divine Masculine, and yet he's still not worked up this courage to come forward to me. I got a real salty energy coming from that card, followed by the Lovers in reverse, which is like, because he does not have the courage to come forward, I still have not experienced any kind of union in the physical. There is union here. There's been sacred union since, I don't know, Lionsgate, August. And yet the physical union, the physical culmination, the actual experience of this connection is still not occurring. I still haven't heard any communication or word from this Divine Masculine. And the next card up is the King of Swords in reverse because he's deep in his shadow traits. Iciness, aloofness, strategizing. And the Ten of Swords. So she's feeling betrayed. She's feeling betrayed because she feels like Divine Masculine dangled his wish, loves to dangle that carrot, didn't pick it up, didn't come in, didn't do anything, didn't say anything, didn't change his behavior. And instead we have painful betrayal feelings. And she, with victory and Nine of Cups, we know that the Ten of Swords is here not only to convey this betrayed feeling she has, because she does feel betrayed. She does. She's trying not to be angry about it because she understands there are reasons for it, but she's also like, I don't fucking care. And I'm entitled to feel that way. Like, have your reasons. Like, I have my reasons to feel furious and betrayed. Like, this is energy coming from this. Like, are you being a coward? Is that all it is? If that's it, that she's feeling really betrayed by that. So she's thinking, like, is he just a coward? Like, he's really just not able to talk to me? Like, you can't talk to me because you're nervous? Like, really? No. Because the end of separation with this card, this end of painful separation, that is what is the wish fulfillment, right? That this King of Swords release his shadow traits and bring about the end of separation. But instead, she's just feeling these swords in her back. And she's feeling stuck, pinned down. Fuck. And the Two of Swords, again, Divine Feminine. The choice you don't want to have to make. and a 7 of Pentacles alongside of that. As in, here's the choice, the two choices. Do you walk away from this union with this person because this person, no matter how much they want to, cannot come forward, which is not okay? Or do you keep nurturing and waiting for these fruits to come to bear, hoping that somehow this divine masculine will finally be brave enough to come forward? That's her standstill. She doesn't want to have to make the choice again. So not happy, chafing at that temperance energy because she's like, I thought you were healing this shit. What the fuck, though, is actually going on? I did not know I was going to get that, but you know what? That really tracks. That feels pretty right about where divine feminine energy is for me. So top of the deck, overall heart space is the 8 of Pentacles in reverse. Dedication is the word on this card from the Field Tarot. So I think divine feminine with temperance in reverse and 8 of Pentacles in reverse, she's like, the work has been done. The work has been done. I have dedicated myself to this, right? That 7 of Pentacles energy progressing into the 8 of Pentacles. I have dedicated myself to nurturing this connection at all costs. I've sacrificed so much for this. And I'm baffled that divine masculine has not found a way to communicate with me. That's not indirect. Because I've done this work and I'm just confused. There's also a sense here too that this craft and this passion that she has, she's got fears about it. She's not fully trusting in her work. She's questioning her mission. She's questioning what she should be working on. She's questioning why she has trouble working on her passions. She knows that she's used this connection to distract her from her actual work. And the niggling feeling in her heart space is the universe card, which in the Field Tarot represents the world. So this is the end, the completion of a cycle. And she's feeling that she has to end this resistance to this work, to her passions. She's got to really come to this completion with her fears regarding being able to see abundance come from her passions, being able to do what it is that she wants to do. It's time for her to release these fears and anxieties and worries about her ability to manifest. And I also think there's sort of a feeling of like a questioning of like, is this the end of this dedication that I have had to this, to nurturing this connection? Because my dedication, it's still not resulted in anything that is even close to representing what kind of a partner I need. Because I need an actual physical person who talks to me. 100% I do. So she's like, do I need to end this dedication, this hard work that I've been putting in for this specific iteration, because I'm not experiencing anything like what is a match to my energy. Which is actually not true. She's experiencing her exact match in energy. But we'll let her think and feel that way. First thing in her headspace is the moon. And it is clarifying her wish fulfillment. She is afraid of not getting her wishes. She's also, the moon for her definitely has this, it represents sort of this sacred connection for them, this 5D connection, this psychic, telepathic, intuitive connection. And the subconscious, the limiting beliefs. So her heart is aware that there's still subconscious limiting beliefs that prevent her from experiencing her wish fulfillment and attract a specific iteration that matches that. And so her thoughts right now are about, she's going within to her intuition and she's starting to question herself. She's like, I convinced myself that the specific iteration is who I'm supposed to be with, but he's consistently not showing up. So have I just labeled somebody as my appropriate union in this lifetime, even if this might be my twin or my soulmate or whatever, but he's just not able to do it. And I'll just be waiting and waiting and waiting in this standstill energy for the rest of my life. She's really afraid of this. So she's trying to go within and just keep digging out any limiting beliefs that are blocking her from allowing a relationship to come in, whether with a specific iteration or someone else, so that she can just experience the union that she's ready to experience. She needs this reciprocity. This is the Six of Pentacles. She needs this. I have a lot of emotion. In the head space, I have a lot of anger. In the heart space, I have a lot of sadness. And I saw like a joking meme the other day that I was like, what? About Pisces, or was it Cancer or Pisces? I think it was Pisces, but it was like mistaking anger for sadness. And I was like, oh Lord, like, nah, that's something I do. But I feel a lot of emotion, like I'm on the verge of tears when I'm reading this heart space. Because of these fears and anxieties are pretty deep about this wish fulfillment. She's like, have I wished for the wrong sort of person? Like, did I wish for somebody that's actually really pretty bad for me? Because I feel good in some ways and then really pretty bad in others. And I'm just kind of suppressing those bad feelings because I'm trying to be patient and like trust in the healing process. But am I selling myself short? Because as I'm trusting this healing process, etc., what I'm really experiencing is a divine masculine who's unwilling to approach me with truth, clarity, directness, honesty. He's not even brave enough to tell me from with his own words how he feels even a little bit. So where's the reciprocity? Because I've poured my heart out and been completely open. I've been so vulnerable, shared my fears and anxieties, and I want somebody who can give me back what it is that I actually am putting in. We have the Eight of Swords in reverse, which in the Field Tarot has the word isolation on it, and it's a card associated with self-sabotage, and which we reframe here on Untitled Tarot as self-protection. And isolation is definitely an element of self-protection. This divine feminine certainly has been engaging in isolation, not only because it's a requirement of our current pandemic, but also because of these fears about being able to find someone who can reciprocate at her level. And she's releasing this energy of protecting herself from anyone, having convinced herself, oh no, there's only this one iteration that I have to cultivate this relationship with. So, that's why I'm not with anyone. And then really kind of going within and being like, oh no, I'm not with anyone, not because of this specific iteration. I'm just not open. So she worked on her process of being open. She opens up. Now she's open and she's communicative and she's able to express her feelings and be vulnerable and express when she's afraid and be honest. And then the specific iteration she has in mind has kept her in isolation, stayed in isolation themselves in this shadow traits of this King of Swords energy. And she's in a place where she's not feeling like the choices she's made in terms of being reciprocal with this energy are really serving her. Because to be reciprocal with this energy means that forever you just indirectly communicate, oh, I love you. Okay, Swell. So this King of Swords in his shadow is being clarified by the Queen of Wands, upright. So she's really having to use her strength because the Queen of Wands is associated with that strength energy. She's having to hold her vision. She's very passionate about this King of Swords. The feelings she has for him are extremely strong. She's extremely attracted to him. There's a lot of sexual energy there. And there's a desire to hold this vision, to be able to see him release these traits and come to her. This Ten of Swords is being clarified by the Six of Cups. Innocence, nostalgia, reflection on the past. And so this is definitely confirming for me that Divine Feminine is feeling that this current feeling that she has of being stuck is a betrayal because it's a repeat of this past behavior that they have been immersed in. She wants to have this reunion. She wants reciprocity. That's in this column right here. The Divine Masculine, who's not coming in and speaking to her or giving her clear communication of any kind, not really reciprocating, causing her pain again. She wants this separation to end so that they can reunite and this past energy to shift away and to move into this six energy of reciprocity. And the last thing in her heart space is the Star. And this is, of course, with this Temperance card, this healing, again, this healing. And this is hope as well for Divine Feminine. And she really hopes that this work that she's putting in, this dedication, this single-minded dedication that she's had to this one specific iteration, she hopes that this will be enough for him to be able to pick up that sword and reciprocate, come out of isolation, release his shadow traits, shine a light on his Divine Feminine, who is this Queen of Wands, and finally come into that reunion. That's what her hope is. And we definitely see her needing this hope because she's been here before. And it's really, really difficult for her to be able to communicate with this person. And without being able to communicate, she's just sitting there waiting. And there's not patience with this card today because Temperance is in reverse. So, not great, Divine Feminine. All right, let's take a look at Divine Masculine energy. Oh my God. Oh, it's stupid. It's just stupid. Top of the deck, overall headspace for Divine Masculine is the Page of Pentacles energy, which in the Cosmic Tarot is the Princess of Pentacles. So we have here, this is a card where you've got a small offer. It's the Pentacle, and there's an analysis too, like an assessing of the Pentacle energy that comes with Page of Pentacles energy. It's new and it's youthful and immature. Divine Masculine chafes at this energy. Normally when we see it for him, we're getting the sense that he feels like a loser or that he doesn't have his worthiness or whatever. But that's not what I'm actually feeling today. What I think I'm seeing today is he's thinking about Divine Feminine assessing his offer. He is ready to make some kind of a gesture to her, but it's not what she's wanting. I think it's small. It's not going to be like a large gesture. He doesn't feel like it's too small, like, oh, it's not good enough. There's not a feeling of not good enough. There might be, but like there's an awareness that it's not going to be good enough to fulfill what she really wants because he cannot do what it is that she really wants right now. So he's concerned about her whatever it is that he's going to do, her just being sort of like, great. And seeing as her energy right now is sort of like, great. Then he's aware that, okay, these small gestures that I have been making, this small offer that I'm intending to make, I don't know that it's actually even going to make Divine Feminine feel good, because it's not fully developed. Because the niggling thing in the back of his mind is this Four of Pentacles in reverse. He's not feeling this stability, it could be financial foundation issues, but he's feeling like a destabilizing in this energy, material energy. So what he's ready to give to Divine Feminine isn't what he really wanted to give her ultimately, or what he really wants to give her ultimately. And he's worried. He has a lot of concern about this Divine Feminine having the exact reaction that Divine Feminine is having, because he knows her, and he knows that she's going to be like, this isn't good enough. Not that you're not good enough, but this isn't good enough. Like, this isn't good enough for me. And that is exactly how she feels. So he is aware. He's aware. He's also trying to release his attachment to external validation, opinions, worrying, being concerned about what others think. To see a reversal on this card for me is also about him being like, I don't care what others think. And I don't care what Divine Feminine thinks about this material offer too. Like, I don't care anymore. Like, I don't care if she doesn't think it's good enough. I'm going to do what it is that I feel called to do. I want to anyway. That is the thought process. The first thing on his mind is the Six of Swords in reverse. So we have the Six of Pentacles, the Six of Swords, and now we have the Six of Wands, and now we have the Six. Oh my God. We had the Pentacles, the Cups, and the Wands, and now we've got the Swords. There we go. We got all the sixes from the tarot today in this reading. So that is reciprocity emphasized many times. It's for Divine Masculine to get this card. When I see the Six of Swords, I often think of the Hierophant, because I think of lessons learned and having learned lessons. And in the Six of Swords, the swords themselves are the strife, the different events, the discomforts, the worries, the concerns, the fears, the anxieties, anything that you've had to go through. These have been the things that have allowed you to figure out where you want to go so you can get from where you are to where you want to be. It's been this way of finding a path. And we're seeing Divine Masculine with a reverse on it, because he doesn't know, since the gestures he's making to Divine Feminine are not big enough, and since he's worried about her feeling that way, he's not quite sure he's going to be able to ferry them to safety, to get them to sanctuary. He doesn't know where he's going. He's really not certain about it. He doesn't feel completely stable enough to really do this. And so he's pretty afraid of, and I'm just dead at the positioning, because over on Divine Feminine side, in the second position in the headspace, we have the Page of Swords for both of them. So Divine Feminine is like, he's not brave enough to fucking talk to me. And Divine Masculine is like, yeah, I'm not. I'm afraid to pick the sword up. I'm afraid to communicate with her. I'm afraid that that when I tell her what it is that I'm able to offer her right now, she's going to be like, fuck you. Like, he's really afraid that she's just going to be like, I can't believe that you would think that I would be okay with that. That is not okay. He's really afraid of this. We saw that yesterday in his headspace. Afraid of her judgment, afraid that when he did explain his reasons for like why things are the way they are, that she was just going to be like, I'm never forgiving you for that. That can't be the reason, right? So he's afraid. And he's resisting his destiny and his fate because of it. Here's the Wheel of Fortune and it's reverse. He's resisting it. And when you resist your fate, It is not fun what happens. Like, you have to co-create. You have to be co-creating with that wheel, because this wheel is going to shift and turn and change whether you like it or not. And if it shifts and turns and change without your collaborative efforts, you're most likely going to be in a situation where you don't like it. So he's aware of this. He's aware that if he doesn't pick up the sword and come in and speak to her divine feminine, even if his offer isn't exactly what she is going to want at the moment, that he is really not going to like the changes that happen in this connection. He's in his King of Cups energy, and this is what is clarifying this Six of Swords in reverse. So the King of Cups is, I mean, in some ways, the best king. He's kind, just, honorable, noble, brave, heart-centered, intuitive, sensitive, in touch with his emotions, but he can't express them because he has to maintain a stoicism, a certain amount of stoicism, so that everyone feels safe. And this is what is making him feel like he can't do what he wants to do. He can't ferry the two of them to safety because he has to maintain this noble, chivalrous, protective behavior as this King of Cups. The next thing on his mind is the Two of Cups. And this is what he's not brave enough to do. He knows, and the King of Cups is looking at, in the spread, he's looking directly at the Two of Cups. This is what he desires, but this is what he's not expressing. There's that inability to express. He is not expressing. He's afraid to actually have a physical union, to actually have physical communication with divine feminine. Even though he feels so strongly about her. He has this deep, eternal love for her, and he feels so strongly about her, but he's afraid of his fate and his destiny. He's afraid to do it. I just want to give him a knuckle sandwich. He's also really hoping divine feminine is strong enough and that their connection is eternal and that she's going to be able to deal with his cowardice. I don't know what else you would call that. Top of the deck, heart space is Eight of Wands. So the feeling is like, buddy, shit is moving and you need to send these messages pronto. And there's this sense that because he has this feeling, this pressure to send this message, to send these messages, because he knows the first thing on his mind was exactly what divine feminine was thinking. The first thing on his mind was her being like, this is fucked up. This is not enough for me. I can't exist like this for another year. No, I won't. Why would you ask me to? He knows divine feminine is in that headspace. And he knows, like, I need to send these messages. I need to communicate with her. I need to tell her what the situation is. And I'm afraid to, because if I tell her and she doesn't want to wait, patiently nurturing this connection without me physically in her life right now, I'm going to lose her. So he stopped fighting against himself. This is the Five of Wands in reverse. He is no longer fighting against himself. He is going to go ahead and send these messages because he's like, either I don't do anything and I lose her and I will lose her, or I tell her what the situation is and I give her the opportunity to choose to wait or not. And I trust in the strength of the connection that she's going to do this. So the niggling feeling is, I'm he can't fight this anymore. He can't fight against himself. He can't fight divine feminine. He's got to make that move. He's got to come out of that locked energy, that stuck energy, and allow this unblocking to happen so that these messages can finally go to divine feminine. We've got the 5 of Cups in reverse, clarifying the 6 of Swords. So he's trying to remain optimistic about where he's going. He's trying to remain optimistic that he will be able to do this, but it's very difficult for him because he has a tendency to focus on sadness, to focus on the things that he's missing and the losses that he's endured, instead of being mindful of those 2 cups behind him. But he's really working on this optimism. He's really, really, really working on it because he is so uncomfortable with this uncertainty, but he understands that discomfort and that fear and that pessimism and that negativity bias that he allows himself to go into, this is what is making him afraid. The next card we have is the King of Pentacles, and it's in its reversal because we see him trying to release the shadow traits of the King of Pentacles, which is control. It's got Emperor energy, right? Because the throne of the King of Pentacles is the throne of the Emperor. So that's where we start to first see this energy, this divine masculine energy shadow traits start to represent those Emperor shadow traits, where we've got dictatorial control, rigidity, stubbornness. We have greed, clinging, the shadow traits that come with King of Pentacles is like this grasping energy, too overbearing, too overprotective. So he's working on releasing this. He's optimistic that he's going to be able to release these aspects of himself, but he's been afraid to come forward because he knows this is true about himself. He knows that these things are true, that he hoards his feelings and emotions, that he focuses on the material, that he is concerned with appearances, that his ego frequently causes him to make decisions and choices that push his heart to the side. And so he's afraid of coming forward and manifesting as the specific iteration for divine feminine because he understands his ability to be able to really cause problems between them. And the Wheel of Fortune is being clarified by Justice. So we got 2 cards there. We just want 1. Justice. So I do think that some of the fate he's chafing at with this card now, clarifying this for me, I get a sense that some of what he's chafing at is that he has to await the results of legal decisions. And having to await these results is like his future isn't in his hands. His fortune isn't in his, it's in the hands of justice, the justice system, the legal system. And he feels, and he's frustrated by that because he wants to be in control of being able to do what it is that he wants to do. And his hands are tied until this justice has been done. He also is afraid, that energy where he's afraid of what, about the truths he has to reveal about what has happened to him legally and the potential things that could happen to him legally. That's why these small gestures are happening. He's trying, with this information, he's trying to show divine feminine, like, I know that what you're getting is not good enough. I know that. But I am in a position where if I give you what it is that you deserve, I could lose everything that I have. So he's really chafing at this position that fate has put him in, where he has to choose, to lose everything he once had so that he can have this new beginning. And he's frustrated by this and he's sorry about it. And that's the next thing. Judgment. Again, he's really feeling this a lot. He's judging himself for his position, that he's this kind of a king. part of him doesn't want to be like this sensitive, kind, caring, compassionate king who's, you know, worried about everybody's feelings and constantly trying to be responsible for how everyone feels. And so because of that, he can't express himself, and he's kind of like judging himself. Like, why am I this kind of king? Why am I not like, you know, King of Wands, and I can just say how I feel and act on it with confidence and not give a fuck, you know, because that the King of Wands is going to fucking tell you what's going on. He's going to tell you, yeah, we're in danger, but I'm going to take care of it. So don't any one of you get worried about it, because the King of Wands is overly confident and he takes action. The King of Cups is probably going to be better at protecting you from death and destruction, but he's not going to be going out and being on the offensive and like striking the enemy and preventing things from happening. And he's certainly, if there is danger, he's going to edge toward negotiations or compromise, losing something instead of just fighting for the whole, like the King of Wands does. And so divine masculine is like mad at himself that he's this kind of a king. He's like, why do I have to be like this? Even though this is what makes him amazing and good and loving and wonderful. He's just judging it. He's also feeling that divine feminine is probably judging him for this behavior, that she's interpreting this as cowardice, which she is. And he's feeling how unfair that is, because it's not cowardice to protect the ones you love by sacrificing your ability to say how you feel. It actually takes bravery to do that. It's brave to remain silent because you know you're going to protect somebody when everything inside of you is just like, no, just say it, just do it, it's fine. Like the King of Wands is going to do it, and then he's going to deal with the repercussions with a lot of power and confidence. The King of Cups is not going to jeopardize anyone around him. He's not going to make any kind of waves, right? He's going to keep the waters calm. That's just the kind of king he is. It's not bad, but he's judging himself this way. And he knows divine feminine is judging him as being cowardly because he's not speaking. Then we have the Six of Wands. In complete union with divine feminine's victory. And in this deck, which is the True Heart Intuitive Tarot by Rachel True, we have this shared victory aspect. This also came up before. I think it was in the headspace yesterday. I think it was the heart space, the niggling feeling in the heart space yesterday. And I didn't mention it, but this is a magpie. And a magpie is attracted to shiny things, right? And goes and collects these shiny things, brings them back to the nest. And that's what they're known for. And it's like those things that magpie finds, they are precious to them. And divine masculine has been doing this. He's been collecting these things, these precious things, to be able to finally share with divine feminine. He's like he's tucked them away, he's stored them away, but he's often been distracted by these pretty shiny things. And they've prevented him from being able to share the victory with divine feminine. And he's got a feeling in his heart space that this is no longer important to him. He's not going to be distracted by shiny things anymore. He wants just this union, this Two of Cups, this physical union with this divine feminine energy. And he's victorious over he feels he's going to be victorious over his fears that he has, that he's not going to be brave enough, or that he's trying to protect her from these shadow traits of himself. He understands he's going to be victorious ultimately. And the final card is the Four of Wands. And I got to tell you, I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted that we have to go through all of that to get to this point, which is the strength and the connection and the stability that they have. Like divine feminine's loyalty, his loyalty to divine feminine, her strength in enduring this process of divine masculine catching up with her in terms of like self-love and understanding this process and everything. Like, this has been the foundation upon which their relationship is built. And so he just feels so strongly that they will ultimately be victorious because he believes so much in his divine feminine strength. And he's working so hard to control his own pride and ego and release that shadow of the King of Pentacles energy. Fuck. Okay. Divine feminine. Let's do your oracles. I'm like so tired. I just gotta go take a nap now. All right. You are right now, divine feminine, you're slipping into the shadow attributes of the orphan child, which is feelings of abandonment that stifle maturation and seeking inappropriate surrogate families. And you need to call in the light, which is independence based on learning to go it alone and conquering your fear of surviving. So I'm really drawn to feelings of abandonment. Right now, the biggest trigger for you in divine masculine's inability to reciprocate because of what appears to be some kind of conundrum, legal or otherwise, that he is in. This is triggering feelings of abandonment in you. And you're in such an interesting space because while you feel victory over the connection, meaning you feel divine masculine loves you, for a long time, you weren't sure about it. You knew it. You were like, I know he loves me, but you didn't. Now you're sure. And then you're realizing, oh, I can be certain of that and still not be able to be in physical union. And so that is triggering these feelings of abandonment, future and otherwise, which will cause you to protect yourself if you linger there too long. You are now like, wow, he can love me and still not be with me, which means it was never about whether he loved me or not. It was never about that. And so I don't have any guarantees. And you don't. And so you have to call in this light and create this independence that's based on learning to go it alone and conquering your fear of surviving. If you're worried about abandonment, that means that you still don't feel okay on your own. So your work then, divine feminine, is to make sure that you understand that in this physical union with another person, there is an unhealthy way of being and there is a healthy way of being. And the unhealthy way of being involves codependency. It involves, I'm only happy if this person in my life is, if he's not in my life, I'm not happy. I'm only fulfilled if I'm experiencing this and I can't give this to myself. And then there's a healthy fulfillment, which is I give myself everything I need. Am I lonely? I'm my best companion. Am I needing physical affection? I'm giving myself that real good. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Got that down. Okay. Do I need attention? Okay. Well, I can, go put on a beautiful dress and do a full face and take selfies and post them all day long and give myself all the attention that I possibly need. Do I feel like I want somebody to hang out with me? No one's around right now. Okay, well, I'm going to watch my favorite show with characters that feel like my friends. Or I'm going to read Harry Potter, which makes me feel like I'm with my friends because they're real to me. So fuck you, they're real to me. And or I'm going to see if somebody is around and wants to watch a movie on Scener with me right now. You don't need a specific person to give you the things that make you feel good. You don't. You don't. It's nice. It's fun. But that's it. And when you realize that, actually, after you marry somebody, that is the rudest awakening. Oh, it's nice and it's fun. But it isn't any different than when I'm by myself. If I still don't know how to give myself any of these things, then when I'm with this person, I'm still never going to feel whole or satisfied. So you have to lock down the light attributes of the orphan child. And your feelings of abandonment, you have to really look into those and understand that, first of all, you were never abandoned. If it's grief and loss issues, which I have from many family members dying before the age of 14 for me, like really traumatic, sudden, unconnected deaths that have no control from people that were 5 years old, 23 years old, 46 years old, 65 years old, like just random death left and right in my life. And so for me, I definitely have abandonment issues about like, well, you can love somebody as hard as you want and they're still going to leave you, because 100% of relationships end in death. Like, great. So there's that kind of abandonment. And you have to find a way to realize that in terms of grief and loss, those people didn't really leave. Like, first of all, they're genetically a part of you if they were related to you, or their memories or the experiences you have, those are interwoven into who you are and your personal identity. And so no one can take that from you. The only thing that you don't experience is a physical experience with that person. But the physical experience is in its nature temporary and ethereal. Like, it's going away. It's not going to last. So you have to kind of go deep into those abandonment issues and really dig them out, because they're not going to go away once Divine Masculine works out his fear and is able to approach you. Once he's able to approach you and say like, hey, I like you pretty good, let's see where it goes, you're going to be like still dealing with abandonment issues. Just so you know. I just want you to know that. That's not going away. You're not going to be like, okay, now that I'm with this person, I'm laying in bed next to them, and, we just had real fun, sexy times, and for like the 20th time today, and I'm all good. Like, you're going to feel good in some ways, and then you're going to be lying there with the same abandonment issues you didn't address before you got into the physical union. So, newsflash, this thing's not going anywhere. You might skip out on my readings for a couple months after you come into union, and then be like, wait, why do I still feel this? Why am I worried about this? Why isn't he talking to me? Why isn't this happening? Because if you're not kind of dealing with why you're projecting that energy, you're just going to keep getting it. That was a lot. Sorry. Okay. Guardian angel, stress management. So you're feeling a little stressed out, Divine Feminine. I know my stress is stemming from the immensity of the projects that I'm trying to complete, the amount of money it will probably cost, which I'm trying not to, think too much about, because I do know that like money is energy and these things manifest or whatever. But so I'm really overwhelmed by what it is that I want to do. And then on top of that, just like my sort of material world that I'm trying to manifest in terms of my relationship, my personal relationship, I just feel so much stress because I'm constantly in this state, that Two of Swords. Like, being in a Two of Swords standstill is extremely stressful because it's a choice you don't want to make. So you can't stop thinking about it. You're like, do I do this? Do I do that? Do I do that? Do I just do this? If it's going to be this amount of time, do I just do that? Do I just do that? Is that this? Is that that? That is stressful. So you need really to do the best you can with stress management. Take it easy today. Do fun things. I have plans to hang out with virtual hangout and work on Book of Shadows and like colored grimoire pages and stuff today. Like, do just fun, gentle things for yourself. You're getting the Passion card, and you have the Queen of Wands too. So we know you're feeling very passionate. This is coming in its reversal, and my feeling is that you need to kind of keep your anger in check. I'm feeling the stress management will be helpful for the angry feelings. Now, let me be clear about that. Keeping your anger in check does not mean do not feel anger. It doesn't mean that. Feel angry all you want. but keep your reactivity to the anger in check. So if you feel angry right now because divine masculine isn't able to come forward, and you're like, wow, what a coward, like I can't believe he can't do that, whatever it is, fine, feel it, absolutely feel it, punch your pillow, do whatever the fuck you need to do, like listen to Rage Against the Machine, I don't know, let yourself be enraged, but think about what kind of consequences will happen if you are in the anger and then you react and you do something towards divine masculine in that reactivity, even though you know that this anger, it's really not about him. You really aren't angry that divine masculine is stuck in some kind of shitty position because of the legal system, or is scared and afraid to talk to you because of the things he has to confess to you. You aren't really angry with it. You're not like, wow, what an asshole. You might say that, you might express it, but that's not really what's the matter. What is the matter is you are angry with yourself because you are accepting something that is not in alignment with you. And you are doing that because there is something inside of you that is still not quite all right, that still needs a little bit of nurturing, healing, tending to before you're going to be able to really experience the kind of love and affection that you want to have. And so the anger is that you're still not okay. And that something happened to you at some point that put you in this state. And you're frustrated and angry with that. So be clear and direct the anger towards its source, not towards this perceived outside external thing. Something inside of you is angry by something that happened or that you missed out on or that you aren't getting enough of or that you're afraid you can't have. And that is what is causing this great passion. And it's up to you to use that energy because you can use it. You can write a song, you can write a story, you can paint something, you can cook food, you can, demolish that wall in your room and open up the space if you need to. Like Tawanda, do what you have to do, like with this energy, but don't direct it at divine masculine because that is old patterned behavior. That's you getting really angry about something that he doesn't have control over and then blaming it on him. I'm telling you right now, this divine masculine doesn't have control over some aspect of what's going on. That comes from his own inner blockages that he's working on unblocking, but there's something he doesn't have control over. The fear, the anxiety he has, his inability to tell the truth because he's afraid of the repercussions. That is annoying, but it's not something to be angry about because guess what? The Page of Swords was in your head too, which means you're also afraid to tell the truth and be honest and be clear about how you are not able to physically manifest the lovers because of your shadow traits, because you don't have a strategy in your life, because you're allowing yourself to remain stuck, right? So don't shoot the messenger because divine masculine is your messenger. He's the mirror. He's the message from spirit. Oh, there's something there on my face. I just got to wipe that off. Like, my makeup's not quite right. I just got to fix that. Literally, that's divine masculine's job. So don't shoot the messenger. Just receive the message, feel the trigger, let it pass through you, call a friend, call him all the names you want to call him in the world to your friend, and then redirect that passion to where it really needs to go. Inside, that passion is frustration because you're not expressing. You are not fully revealing yourself. You are not shining. The next message we're getting is, I am the loving energy of the universe. What a lovely balm for a wound that looks like this. Look at this water. How do we put out this fire? With water. Emotion, heart, love. You are the loving energy of the universe. Be that loving energy towards yourself. Quench that fiery anger. Let yourself be angry at whatever it was that caused you to come into this space, and then release that anger and allow yourself to be the loving energy of the universe. Nothing will come of this situation. This is the void of course moon. This is one outcome is not more likely than another. It's neither here nor there. And it's a card that's really sort of like about being in that in between and being as comfortable as you can. And it's also usually carrying a message that whatever it is that you're very worried about, nothing is going to come of that situation. So your fear is divine masculine is not brave enough to talk to you. Nothing is going to come of that fear. A new start is coming. A reversal on a Moonology card for me, because of its timing aspects, indicates to me that there is not a new start coming, but that this is the new start. The new start is you feel this type of way. You express the way you feel. You feel that anger, you feel that passion, and you don't direct it at divine masculine. Instead, you understand that this is coming from a trigger, and there is nothing that he can do or be that will be able to truly change how you feel about him, because the love is unconditional. So this trigger is just about showing you what you need to fix. Protection. Call back your cords. Call back your power. Cut the cords and soul retrieval. So you need to put up your boundaries right now and be productive. I'm drawn to the call back your power. You give divine masculine quite a lot of power in terms of he's directing the timeline, etc. And I feel that you need to call back your power and acknowledge that it's not you that's waiting for divine masculine. Divine masculine is waiting for himself to be able to do what he needs to do. You are waiting for him to catch up with you, so to speak. But you're already there. So you're not powerless. You have power. As you come into alignment in yourself, divine masculine emulates that alignment with you. So your power is in your ability to heal, become confident, become whole, be in that Empress energy, and attract that like energy. You are not powerless to this specific iteration. You can attract any iteration that you want that matches your energy. So cut the cords with the specific iteration. You don't have to block them out. You don't have to like stop talking to them, but cut the cords of that power. Retrieve your soul from them because you've given it to them. It's like, oh, my happiness rests in your decision to come forward. No, it doesn't. Your happiness rests right now in this moment. If that person is capable of coming up to you and sharing your happiness because they have that matching level of happiness to you, great. If they're not, also great, because someone else is going to step right up. We're getting the protection message today from the Colette Baron Reed Spirit Animal Oracle deck. That's a lot to say. Of Wasp Spirit. Sometimes life stings. Are you holding on? I can't with these cards. I can't. It's so stupid. Are you holding on to anger, jealousy, or resentment because you got stung? Or could you have just stung yourself by comparing yourself to others? There will always be someone else who is more successful, happier, thinner, richer, etc. Jealousy is the false belief that you can't have what you want, or someone could take away something that was supposed to be yours. Let it go and release all those feelings that are making the sting hurt long after the stinger has been removed. Wasp Spirit has woken you up, and now you are called to trust that disappointment can lead you to a different and better path. Align with Spirit now and trust that this too shall pass and is already doing so, for the pain subsides when you stop telling the story of how much it hurt. Wow, that is a very strong message. I recommend that you, I'm going to use the term from the 80s, rewind the video and listen to that message again, because that was extremely powerful and very applicable to this divine feminine who definitely is holding on to some anger, that passion that was in reverse, some anger, some jealousy, some resentment. And if she can really embrace that the pain is going to subside when you stop telling the story. Stop telling the story about how divine masculine doesn't reciprocate your feelings and emotions in the way that you want him to do it. Stop telling the story. Stop talking about it to your friends. Stop talking about it with yourself. Stop talking about it with the 5D manifestation of the energy. You choose how to manifest. So what do you want to focus on? Do you want to focus on divine masculine not talking to you the way that you want him to talk to you? Or do you want to focus on what he's done that makes you feel good? That makes you feel like he's going to come through? And if you don't have anything to pull from that makes you feel good, then it's time for something better. Divine masculine, you are in the shadow attributes of the hermit, withdrawing from society out of fear or negative judgments of others. You must come into the light, which is, in this case, seeking solitude to focus on inner life and serving personal creativity. But you've done enough inner life work, divine masculine. The main message from this is you are withdrawing from your divine feminine out of fear of negative judgment from her. And you're not going towards her because of your fear about negative judgments of others. Stop it. Your guardian angel is here to help you in this pause with reflection, meditation. This is a card about appreciation too. It's like maybe you're stuck. Maybe this legal question is in the air and your fate is up in the air and you can't do anything and you're paused. Then take this time to be in a state of joy and appreciation for everything that you have. Gratitude, appreciation. Don't focus on the sadness with that 5 of Cups energy. Focus on not what has been lost or what you're losing or the potential but for loss here, but focus on what you've gained, the leaps that you've made, what you appreciate about the divine feminine. This is a strong message. I feel a strong message here. Freedom. The universe is telling you, you have this freedom, divine masculine. The cage that is around this divine feminine energy, it's an illusion. It's not a real thing. You have freedom. You are free to approach your divine feminine. And she is free right now to be with you. And it would behoove you to take this opportunity to trust in this freedom. Because there's a part of you that doesn't feel free. It feels like your hands are tied legally. But you're being told you do have freedom. When I'm connected to my joyful presence, I attract support from the universe. Isn't that what we said about that pause card? Connecting to the joyful presence, being in a state of joy and appreciation for the divine feminine, for all the good things that have happened. I do whatever it takes to get closer to consciousness. And this I'm really feeling is I'll do whatever it takes to get closer to consciously manifesting this in the 3D. So that my conscious awareness is finally in alignment and I can be physically with my divine feminine. Trust that the answers that you need are coming. And this is that twin flame energy. There's the Gemini on the card. Trust your path. If you knew you were supported, divine masculine, what would you do? We see this card for you all the time. And if you knew you were supported, if you knew that nothing you did would not work out, what would you do? Would you just, I know what you would do. You're getting, I love this card. Chameleon Spirit's protection message, which is act as if. Being sensitive and having empathy for others can become a heavy burden if you don't practice self-care. Could it be you're feeling stressed because you've tuned into challenging emotions that aren't even yours? Chameleon Spirit does not want you to adapt to these conditions by withdrawing or distracting yourself, hoping the feelings will just go away, or attempting to rescue another who may be having a pity party. You can be swallowed up trying to manage it all. It is time to figure out where you end and the rest of the world begins. Not all conditions are yours to match. You need to distinguish your own color from the rest of the world right now and take time out to soothe your sensitive soul. Choose some activities that will restore your sense of being grounded and avoid people who revel in drama. Take a break from social media too. Self-care and a timeout is the answer to this temporary dilemma. All right, Divine Masculine. So that King of Cups that we saw when I was talking about this empathic king who worries about the feelings and emotions of others and is overprotective. That's what this card is talking to you specifically about. Having an empathy for others that becomes a burden because you're feeling so tuned into their emotions and so responsible for them. And so this is a really interesting thing because for you, as a problem solver, this makes you feel competent, like you can go and help others, etc. Having to take care of others makes you feel worthiness. But because you're doing that, you're not taking care of yourself. To take care of yourself right now would be to come into union with divine feminine. That's all you want. But you won't do it because you're worried about others. And you can't help anybody if you can't help yourself. And you can't help yourself right now. All right. The union, the bottom of the deck for the two of you together. You are in the shadow attributes right now of the mystic. So you are not reveling in intimate union with the divine at the moment. And that is true for me. There's been 5D sexual energy connecting the two of you, and at the moment divine feminine is not feeling it. She's having a hard time because she is feeling the abandonment issues here in the physical. So there has been a lack of this reveling in intimate union in this 5D energy, and you are needing to understand that intimate union is part of the creative process, right? It's Kundalini energy and it's from the divine, not from the specific iteration of the manifestation. So you're needing to come back into that mystic energy and come into union, in that sacred union. Don't avoid that connection with divine energy. Sleep. So y'all are not getting enough sleep, or you're not resting. It's like you get to a stage together where things start to pick up, and then instead of just kind of resting there for a moment and appreciating it and just being like, oh, this is nice, you get up, go again, and you're trying to it's because you don't trust that things are going to be okay that you can't really rest. So you're trying to make things happen. And the divine is you need to revel in this intimate union with me so that I can make these things happen. You just need to sleep. You need to rest. You need to turn off your head, turn off the noise, that chatter. All of that chatter is what's preventing you from coming together. Just rest and allow me to do this work. Trust. This card was emphasized. Trust the divine. You're not doing that. You're chafing at destiny. You're fearing the protective energy. You have to trust that this is taken care of. I'm going to say to you again, it's done. It's done. It's already done. It's like the lightning has flashed and you're just waiting for the sound of the thunder. You're going to hear thunder. You saw the lightning. it's done. The moment I realign with love, clear direction is presented to me. So the moment that you just realign with the love that you have for each other, the divine shows you a clear path towards one another. And as soon as you fear it or doubt it, that's where the problems step in. The energy is gaining momentum. We saw the Eight of Wands for Divine Masculine. We feel it. There was an emphasis on this card. There's a lot of momentum here. If you can just allow it, just trust and rest. And then we're getting this again, and this closed the reading yesterday. Watch and wait. Just watch and wait. All right, let's close out the reading with a goddess energy for today. This is for this goddess practice that I encourage you to do to help balance divine feminine energy, because we spend a lot of time focusing on God energy and masculine energy, and it has caused us to shift out of balance. So I choose a card from this deck of goddesses in order to honor these different goddesses that have existed throughout time and across cultures. And you can use this energy that I'm talking about right now, or you can visualize any divine feminine energy, but you're going to put 2 hands over your heart at some point during the day today and repeat the mantra for 15 minutes in your mind. My heart is the heart of the goddess, picturing this divine feminine energy of any kind. So I think it's interesting because we're getting the Medusa energy today, and we saw her here in the 5 of Wands for Divine Masculine. Medusa, when Medusa was slain, the winged horse Pegasus sprang from her blood. The Greeks portrayed Medusa as a horrifying gorgon, an ugly woman with snakes for hair. Anyone who looked at her face was turned to stone. Yet her name has the same root as medicine and measure, and derives from a Greek word meaning to protect and to rule over. I think that's so interesting because the 5 of Wands is a card about being stuck, and Medusa turns you to stone. But her name is the root of medicine and measure. And it's in that stuck energy. It's in that separation, that painful separation, that feeling of being stuck, isolated from one another, where medicine arrives to protect. Medusa is a moon goddess, the triple-headed great goddess in her death aspect. She is associated with blood, so to meet her is to meet the mysteries of moon blood or menstrual blood, sacred and terrible, in many mythologies the source of life. Medusa is serpent energy, enlivening, terrifying, impersonal. Somehow Medusa, a symbol of growth and generation that dies so that from death may come life, became a symbol of fear, for to look directly upon the divine is to face a terrifying reality. Pegasus is instinct, wisdom, imagination, life force, and intuitive understanding. So, there is our goddess energy for the day, that serpent energy, that kundalini energy. Again, I'm drawn to that because of that reveling with intimate, in intimate union with the divine. That's like a kundalini type of an energy as well. So there is something about needing to come into the light of that energy for the two of you. Okay, that's the end. It was a long reading. I just saw 11833. And I'm exhausted because it was tiring, and I feel that rest card was really applying to you. Might be very drained today in your energy. I thought it was interesting. The music that came up today for Divine Masculine was a song by my friends, actually, Justine and Chelsea, who had a band called Summer Twins, and the song was Helpless. And it was about like being helpless to the experience of someone else, like wanting it to be the way that you were picturing it in your mind, but knowing that in reality, it never quite looks like that, but you're still helpless to them and you want to be with them no matter what, even though it's not kind of going the way that you, according to plan, and you're not certain of the other person's energy. And then for Divine Feminine, we had 2 instrumental songs. The first of which was called Things to Make and Do by U2. And then another one called March Ahead, I think, Brian Eno. So Divine Feminine was silent. She didn't really have much to say. She had things to make and do, and she was just going to march ahead. And that's kind of the energy I have from Divine Feminine, which is just like she's in the standstill. She doesn't want to have to make a decision. So she's just going to focus on the things that she needs to make and do. And she's going to march ahead and allow the divine to make the decision for her. Just in this headspace of like, listen, if there's a specific iteration that shows up and it matches me, I'm going to trust that that was put in front of me so that I should have this experience, because the specific iteration that I want is not on the same page. And because I have no idea when that will happen or if it will ever happen in my lifetime, since it could be somebody I share many lifetimes with, I'm going to trust that the divine is going to put the experiences in front of me that I need to have. That makes Divine Masculine nervous, because that means that Divine Feminine is open to other connections, and she is. And Divine Masculine is not, and he does not want her to be. And that's too bad, because you can't have that expectation. So that's why they're in this uncomfortable place. And Divine Masculine knows that he can't ask that of her, but he's not really capable of relinquishing that control or hold over her, even in his inability to approach her. That's where we're at. So that's not a super comfortable place for anyone to be. So take care of yourself today. Do that stress management. Like, subscribe, share, help to grow my channel. There are links in the description box below. Patreon account if you want to support me. There's you can send me decks if you're interested in seeing new imagery. That's all below. And follow me on Instagram, Tuned In Tarot, so you can see when I'm going live. I post a time-lapse video with the songs that I just described, because I shuffle to music every day and use the music to help direct the reading. So you can follow me there. And I'll be choosing a new Major Arcana song card to focus on soon, so we can create a playlist together and you can have an opportunity to win a free 90-minute reading. I used to say 60-minute, but it's really about 90 minutes. So 90-minute reading from me. So stay tuned for information about that. I will see you tomorrow morning here on Tuned In Tarot. Take care, everybody, and have a great day.